And of course, everyone already told me to make sure I gave you the greetings. All right, here we go. I'm just waiting on notification. Perfect. And I'm excited. All right, here we go. Boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast with an incredible guest today, my Aunt Jamilah Muhammad. First of all, assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Walaikum salam.
This means so much to myself, our family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast. The first question that we want to know, 41 years in the Nation of Islam, but when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Well, I'm from Philly, you know that, of course. And Philly's like a Muslim town. So you kind of grow up hearing about the nation. You grow up learning about the minister and the messenger. Well, more so the messenger. But so when I actually really learned about the teachings was in 1980. Yeah, I believe it was 1980. My cousin, her boyfriend picked me up from work one night, who I kind of grew up with. And he drove me home and it was late, but he had the minister playing and he just all the way home. And then when I got home, we double parked in front of the house and we just listened to a whole lecture. And I didn't think I was really listening because I just kept looking up at my door like, wow, I want to go in the house. It's probably after midnight at this point.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I just kept thinking, I want to go in the house. But I must have been listening because right after that, I started going to high school in full garments every day. I guess I was listening.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And because it's Philly, was that awkward or no? People didn't.
No, that's the thing. I mean, I had long skirts. I mean, it wasn't like traditional uniforms, but I had long skirts. I had scarves. I mean, in my wardrobe already. So it was easy to transition to just start dressing like that. And that was even before I had been to the mosque. Yeah.
Praise be to Allah. Okay. So then what was it, the final thing that made you be like, all right, I'm ready to join the Nation of Islam? What was that?
I think when I came to the nation, I really came in on being Black, do for self and the upliftment of Black people. That's what I came in for, really, to be honest. It took over time. I grew to love Islam and the spirituality part of it. But when I first came in, I had to be honest, that's what I came in on.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, great. And when you came in, what was the environment like in the mosque, like on the sister side? Like, was there captains and ministers already in 1980, or what was that like?
Well, what happened was in 1980 in Philly, we were in study groups. So we actually had 3 different study groups and we didn't know about each other, actually. We met at, like I said, with 3 different study groups in different parts of town. And then at one point they brought us all together. Brother Jabril at the time, Brother Kushmir, came like almost every week or every other week and met with us and put all 3 study groups together. So then he from one study group, he picked the minister. From another study group who was the minister, they made him like the student minister. Then we had a captain. So that was, I want to say late 1980. So by the time Saviour's Day 81, we did have a captain, a minister, a student minister. I mean, he was a junior minister, I mean to say. And yeah, we did have laborers.
Okay, yes, ma'am, wonderful. And then how did your family in Philadelphia feel? Like, and your friends, what they say?
Like I said, because Philly's a Muslim town, like it's almost like a rite of passage. At some point, everybody goes to the mosque or the masjid.
Yes, ma'am.
So they just assumed that's what I was doing. Just going to the mosque or the masjid, and I would basically, I don't want to say get over it, but I would do that, and then everything would be the same. And but it didn't. It stuck. So my family was fine. I mean, I grew up with a very my sister was Pentecostal preacher, her and her husband. I don't think at that time they were just coming into the church heavy then. But I was very strong-willed. So, they got used to it very quick.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And thank everybody who continue to watch and like, share, and subscribe to people's podcasts. Mimi says Amila is always beautiful and fashionable. Naima says all praise be to Allah. Everybody's saying assalamu alaikum to you and showing you love in the comments. Carmen is saying assalamu alaikum, mama. Okay, boom. My next question for you is, what was it like meeting the minister for the first time?
Oh, the first time. I mean, you're so excited. You know, it was early on when I first met the minister. It was probably, I want to say, it must have been 81. First time I met the minister. Yes, 1981. And I mean, you're just so excited. You're young, you're in the nation, you're just happy about it. And I mean, I just was elated. It was just like, wow, this is the minister and I'm meeting him. And we got to see him a lot more back then. And, you know, a little more up close. So it was just wonderful.
Yes, ma'am. So in 1981, before the Million Man March, added up, stop the killing, you see him and you still like, this is a big deal. Even in 1981, you felt that way?
Yeah, definitely. He was the minister. I remember in you know, like in those days, everything was new. I was young, excited. We had so much fun. I mean, the nation was fun. We had a good time soldiering. And yes, we were excited to see the minister, of course.
That's tight.
Yes.
Okay. Well, when did you go? When we were younger, my dad would always talk about Aunt Milla, Studio 19, bow ties.
Oh, yeah.
How did that come about, you making bow ties, and then later, like, you know, making bow ties and the minister wearing them? How did that come about?
I think it was, okay, what year? I don't even know what year. This was probably, so Leonard was born, I had to go by a year, probably in 86. No, maybe 84. Yeah, around 84. Around 84. I had come to DC and Brother Akil and the drill team from Baltimore, I think they were DC, it was DC. And they needed bow ties for their drill that they were doing. I was like, I could figure out how to make a bow tie. So they all gave me their old bow ties. I took them apart, used the clips, and that's how I started. Probably like in 84 or something like that, making bow ties. And it's just something that I continued to do. And then eventually the minister started wearing them. Yes.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am.
And
and this is no YouTube, no Google or nothing. You just seeing these bow ties and you like, you can just do this.
Yes, I took it apart. I took one of their old bow ties apart and I was like, can't be that hard. And made it. And it just kept going from there. Then you get to the silk and, you know, you get a little better.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. All right. Will you ever go back to making bow ties?
Oh, I don't know. And, you know, I think I owe your father some right now. To me, but I know I really probably won't do them full time again like I used to. I do them for my son and my grandchildren and stuff like that. But
good. Okay, praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. My next question is, with the brothers, we often talk about the minister and seeing his divinity and being around him, like on security and stuff like that. But with the sisters, what was it like for you being around Mother Farrakhan? How was that like, you know, when you were being around her in that type of situation?
It's the same almost, because when we look at Mother Farrakhan, same way the brothers feel about the minister and security, we look at her in the same light. Like we have to secure her the same that the brothers are doing the minister. So definitely.
Okay, cool. Yes, ma'am. And so many people are showing you love. I can't wait to put this on YouTube. All right, now my next question for you is, speaking of that, we got to go. So you're in Baltimore, you traveled around. When we came to Atlanta, it was always just a big deal to be here and show you love. When you travel from different cities, what is it like for you to be there in the early stages and to see how they've grown, like, you know, since the 80s when you go back to these cities?
Oh, it's beautiful. And in the early days, we just had so much fun with the nation. Thinking of some things about the early days, like I think of, we were always like family. So you go into one city, we still go from all up and down the East Coast. it was just a great thing. New Orleans, we started out in not started out, but we were in New Orleans, and I haven't been back since. I would love to see that mosque, because when we started there was nobody, not one person. So, you know, I would love that. I remember in the early days of Philly, I was thinking about recently 81 Saviors Day, and just how we had, like I said, we were like a family. So all of us, all the brothers and sisters, just we hung out together. And I remember Brother Earl, everybody know Brother Earl from Philly. He had went and got all the garments out of all the cleaners from prior to 75, like the people just left in the cleaners. And so I remember 81 Saviors Day, we went to Saviors Day in full garments, uniforms, fezzes. I had a tan, a green, my white had pearls all on it, you know. So the early days we did what we had to do. Not actually, I was in uniform, we didn't have X's yet, but we did what we had to do, and it was just fun.
Praise be to Allah. And I want to make sure, Amila, that I thank you on behalf of myself, our family, and the viewing audience of People's Podcast for your sacrifice and the sacrifice of your family for helping to establish Islam here. I mean, my goodness, in North America, 41 years. I'm just so impressed, man. I can't. That's beautiful. Praise be to Allah. And of course, my sisters are saying so beautiful in the comments, and so many people are showing love. Excellent. Now, Miller, speaking of Saviors Day, what are some of your favorite things to do at Saviors Day?
Okay, my favorite things to do at Saviors Day. I mean, everybody loves the drill. You love the main lecture. It's just seeing the brothers and sisters, just seeing each other that you haven't seen maybe since the year before. And the soldiering, just the camaraderie around each other, being with each other.
Praise
it's going to be different soon, but I mean, most of the time I was with your mom at Saviors Day, so it's going to be a little different, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Now I want to talk about, speaking of drill, three beautiful children of yours, all of them drilled. Leonard, Atlanta, and New York, Camilla and Carmen in Atlanta, holding it down. Is that something that you would like put in them? like why did all your children love to drill and love to drill?
That was from your side of the family. No, I wasn't one of the drillers. I could drill. Okay. Believe me, I could drill. Yes, I just hadn't done it as much. So they learned that coming up in the nation. That's what we did, you know. Yes, probably they started in Baltimore and went from there.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And then I also wanted to ask you, okay, now the sister side, the May Man March. Okay. Let's go to the May Man March. What was that like for you being a sister leading up to that, and how did that impact you as a woman?
Well, I mean, the Million Man March we were there, you know, many days beforehand. We had even moved to Atlanta before that, but we came back to help out with that. And Million Man March was just so beautiful. I remember, if you recall, we had the apartment right near the event. We stayed at the apartment. I keep saying hotel. We stayed at that apartment. So just seeing, I remember in particular, these young brothers the night before walking to the Million Man March, and to the area, the capital. They were going to try to spend the night just outside. And just seeing the happiness in their faces, I think I'll never forget that. Just seeing the love, you know, that you saw and I'm not even talking about FOI, I'm talking about just the brothers, the neighborhood brothers, the regular men that were there, and just seeing, it was like a glimpse of heaven, to be honest, just to watch that. So definitely affected, I think everybody who was there and who saw it affected them.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Now, okay, my next question for you, Amelia, is you told me a story before. This is like last time we were working out this, because this was this has been an interview in a long time coming. I
don't like talking. I don't like to public.
I thank you so much for giving us this history, for your grandchildren and your great cousins, nieces, nephews, and everyone that have chronicled. But could you tell us about what it was like for you going to the palace, and some of the interactions you had with the Hon Min Farrakhan?
Well, it was one thing I have to thank Allah, because it was many times that we were able to see the minister, which was such a blessing.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know which story you're talking about.
Oh, I'm talking about the story of the minister. Your thoughts, and he's coming in.
Oh, okay. One time we went to the palace and we were having a meeting with the minister. And it was something that it was about a transfer, like me moving to Chicago, or our family moving to Chicago. And I really didn't want to do it. But, you don't want to tell the minister you don't want to do that. You just don't do that. But when we came in, it's like a holding room, a little room you go in, to prepare to go in, take your shoes off and everything.
Yes,
and I was in there by myself. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Jamilah, you're going to tell the minister exactly how you feel. You're going to let them know exactly what you think. You're going to just be honest and tell them. And you're going to let them know you don't want to move to Chicago. And he stuck his head in the door and said, and I wasn't talking, I was thinking. He stuck his head in the door and said, Jamilah, I'm not going to ask you to move to Chicago. So you can imagine how I felt. I was like, oh no. But hey, he understood.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. And Brother Joseph is saying something like him. And so many people showing you love. Now, speaking of that, I wanted to ask you, when that kind of stuff happens and you've been with the minister for so many years and you see him evolve in the public eye and you growing and everybody's just, becoming a family, what advice would you give to the future generations on holding on to our faith?
You mean like young people coming up now?
Yes, ma'am.
What everybody would say, you have to study, you have to learn Islam for yourself, like understand it for yourself, and so that you can grow to love it. You can't do it for anybody else, you have to do it for yourself. And the other thing I would tell somebody young, because I know how it was when I was young, you got to make it fun. You have to enjoy Islam, and I think watching my children grow up, and all of y'all were growing up and seeing each other and knowing people from all over the United States, and just knowing each other, having fun with each other and enjoying each other. That's what you have to do as a young person. You have to enjoy, make Islam fun. Y'all have young families, make the young families all hang out and your children hang out. And if you're college students, all the college students hang out, something, but you got to make it fun and enjoyable. That's just a thought.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And Amila, how did you all make it fun when you were coming up?
Oh, wow. We did a lot of things together. We just hung out. Like before I got married, which wasn't long in the mosque, but we all hung out. We all hung out together, all the brothers and sisters. And then afterwards, when we were soldiering, we all were together. And that was just fun. To go secure the minister, you might be in New York this day at a believers meeting. We used to all meet together, like we start in DC and go all the way up to New York, and we should just have fun together. I remember one time we were going to DC, and it was me and my cousin Marie, and believe it or not, Marie was my first officer. And she didn't have an ex at that time either. It took a little while to get your letter back. but I remember we were going to DC. I think Brother Alim was speaking there the first time he had ever spoke there. This was before he was the minister. And so what we did was we were getting on a train, and the brothers from Brother Kareem's son and then was on the train already from Plainfield, and they jumped off and made sure we got on with them. And we just did stuff like that as a family, like all of us. And we just made it fun,
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And my sister's name says, all praise be to Allah. And Minister Van says, Assalamu alaikum, Sister Jamilah. Thank you very much for your service. And thank you, Minister Van, as well for yours. Okay, boom. Now okay, here we go. All right, excellent. Okay, make it fun. Yes, ma'am. My next question for you is, what is your greatest joy in life?
Greatest joy. I have to say my family. My family is my greatest joy. My children, my grandchildren, my nieces and nephews, y'all are my greatest joy.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. We have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. I'm Miller. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. And here we go. Boom. And thank everybody who continues to watch and all of the sponsors. Here we go. All of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. It means so much to us. We're about to start a new season, and I'm very excited for the month of November. If you all like to be a sponsor or donor, please cash out the People's Podcast. Thank you all very much. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera, a drone. He does television and film editing. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, both of which are available on Amazon. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country and right here in the studio in Atlanta, Georgia. We love our tiny dancers. Sister Rashida Rafat, 5-year special promo. If you want to write a book and you're working on, you need content development, media relations, or consultation of any kind working on a book, please reach out to Sister Rashida Rafat with Rock Communications. Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad out of Austin, Texas, conflict mediation, squashing the beast in the community. Thank you very much, Brother Minister. Sister Fudia Muhammad, his wife, wrote a book called Children of the Most High, Giving Birth to a God and the Science of Child Rearing. Thank you very much. Let's make sure we get that book. Brother Kenneth, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the country. Asiatic Minds with Sister Sherry Muhammad, asiaticminds.com. Please sign your children up. It's a virtual school that produces young kings and queens. Thank you very much. We're coming right back to you, Sis Jamilah. Dr. Henry M. Carter, right here in Atlanta, Georgia, King Henry's Turkey Legs. Brother Rashad Muhammad out of Chicago, COVID-19 Disinfecting Cleaning Services. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, and as well as his new book, Down Is Not Out, on AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my 2 books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse. Thank you all very much. Right back to Sister Jamilah. Boom. Okay, so now, thank everyone. People commenting back and forth in the comments. Thank you very much. All right, now, Amila, my next question is, a statement. It's a gratitude. When me and my sister Miriam moved to Atlanta and Redan, we came to live with you all, and you were just always so kind to us. And I just wanted to make sure I publicly thanked you and your family, but make sure I thanked you specifically for this story. I'm a big football fan, and I text Amila the other day, so random, because I was watching football, getting emotional on 30 for 30. And I made the football team, and I didn't have any cleats. And I was just so brokenhearted. I was like, oh my goodness, I have no money. How I'm gonna pay for these cleats? And my aunt just came one day and was like, boom, Nike cleats. This is your size. Go out here on the football team and just tear it up. And you've always that's just one of many stories of how your heart is just so kind. So I want to thank you for always showing love to me and us specifically, especially me, because I'm just personal like that. But could you tell us your favorite story of my mother and why you all were so close?
Why was we so close? I don't know, because we were always together, like from when y'all were little. We made sure that y'all stayed together. So we were always together. And that was my sister. She was just there for me for whatever I needed. You know, we were there for each other. But I can give you so many stories. But of things we did, soldiering stories or just in general?
Yeah, whatever.
I remember when I had Leonard, her and mom came up and took the girls. And I remember that's when your father was out of the country. He was in, they were over in Iran, I think, somewhere, Iraq, one of them, Libya, one of them places.
Yes,
and she took the children, and I guess I was kind of emotional after having Leonard. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're gone. Where's my babies? And she teased me about that for maybe the next 30 years. About the fact that I thought, I knew she didn't take my children, but she was gone. We did a lot with soldiering together. I remember riding up to the East Coast, to the East Coast. We were on the East Coast. This is when I think I was in Philly at the time. They were in DC. They came down, picked us up, and we went to a meeting in New York. It was like they used to have these joint FOI and MGT meetings.
Okay.
And we all rode up together, and it was just so much fun because we had like a sisterhood that it was certain sisters that just hung together all the time in the early days. We were still in Philly and she was in DC, but we all just kept together. And we just always together. That trip to New York, I was talking about in particular, was just so much fun because I remember one time we were walking and we thought we was just walking on a regular street in New York. And it was me, Sharifa and Sister Patricia. This was real early days. And we were walking down the street and we thought we were just walking down the street and these men were in that, they kind of hollered at us, basically disciplined us because he's like, what are you sisters doing down here? And we were like, we're walking, basically. And they were like, this is an alley. You don't disturb, you're not supposed to be in here. This is not for y'all. Because we had on garments, so they knew. And we were like, oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. And we got out of there. But it was just, we just always had fun, no matter where we went. You know how your mom was. Yes, no matter where we went, we had fun. If it was with the children, she was the fun aunt. I wasn't the fun aunt. So y'all did all kinds of places. With your mom, what was funny was like, and I used to hate to drive all the time. Your mom, she drove everywhere. She'd say, come on, let's go for a pajama ride. We get up in the morning, if I'm in Chicago at your house, we get up thinking we just run into the store and we end up in Idaho. Or one time we ended up in Canada. Mm-hmm. She would just say, come on, let's go for a ride. The picture of y'all on when you was a little boy.
Yes, ma'am.
That was supposed, we didn't have no clothes. That was just a quick ride and we ended up in Canada. So those were the kind of things that we did. We did it as a family and mainly for y'all, to keep y'all together. And that was my sister. We were just always together.
Praise be to Allah. Boom. And Carmen said Aunt Deet was a fun aunt.
Y'all all say Aunt Deet was the fun.
I know that's how they see it, but I like going to your house, thank you very much, and eating your food. So I was like, all right.
Okay, I cooked. Aunt Deet was fun.
Okay, yeah. Yes, ma'am. All right, my next question is, now, what do you do for fun now?
Fun. Because of COVID, I ain't had much fun. But what I do? I like to create. So I like decorating or reupholstering furniture, recreating furniture, painting, whatever, something just creative. That's fun for me. That and working a little bit, making a little money. Those things are fun to me.
Yes, ma'am. Now, how did you get into that? Because they have a thing on TikTok where they call like all these life hacks, and they show like women who did the same thing that you were doing, like reupholstering, hooking all this stuff up, and they get all these. I'm like, oh, my aunt used to do that. You know what I'm saying? But way back in the day. So how did you just get a love for that?
I always liked decorating, and it was a brother. In fact, I talked to this brother a couple of days ago. I just called him out the blue. He was an older brother in Baltimore named Brother Joseph, and he did upholstery, and I told him I wanted to learn how to upholster, and I went and he taught me how, a little bit, but at the time I was the minister's wife, so he wouldn't let me do much. How he was an older brother and he was like, you can't stand on the furniture, you can't, I can't have you, the brother knowing you picking up furniture and stuff. I was like, look, we gonna learn how to do this. So that's how I started. I learned with him, and then I finished learning a little bit when I moved to Atlanta with somebody we met in the store. So, and I just always like I like being creative. I never like regular furniture out of a store much. Yes, I want my stamp on it.
Okay, well, you'll be getting some phone calls from me very soon, because Mimi called me HGTV, because now I'm all into like decorations and all this stuff that I'm working on. So my apartment and the condo and all this stuff. And I'm like, I know who to call.
Yes. So, Carmen, you see Carmen, she's.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see her now. I see her doing this stuff. Mimi said you were Fun Aunt Miller, you were the chill aunt, and let us be. We love that, and you didn't spank us. Absolutely, we love that.
Yeah, Deep was a disciplinarian. I wasn't. That's the truth.
Absolutely. I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about, Fun Aunt. I'm like, Aunt Miller was fun to me. What type of music do you like to listen to, Aunt Miller?
I'm old school R&B and
Okay.
with a little bit of that neo soul, Philly, Jill Scott, Music Soul Child, Erica Badu, but
Okay.
mainly old school R&B.
Okay, great, great. Yes, ma'am. Now, Amelia, what advice would you give to future mothers?
Future mothers. Um, I guess what I would say far as the rearing of their children is just to always set a standard that your children know that you have for them, and you set it by example for them, but you also make sure they know that you're there no matter what. Like they can tell you anything. It could be anything, let them know that they can talk to you about it. And then also don't lose yourself by being a mother. Don't lose who you are.
Mm,
You keep that also intact. But just be there for your children. I used to always make a joke. I was always tell my girls, I ain't your friend,
mm.
But I also made sure they always knew they could tell me anything, you know, that that was going on, because I would want to know, and I want them to know that I was there for them, whether we have standards of what we as Muslims do, and they understood that. But if something happens, still come tell me, and we'll work it out. I remember one time, since Carmen's one of the things, she's gonna have a fit, but I remember when she first went to college, she hadn't got her driver's license yet. And she called me and she was like, Mom, I don't have my driver's license, but I'm the designated driver. Every weekend I'm driving because all my friends might be drunk or whatever. And I'm like, so of course I don't want her driving. She doesn't have a license. So of course I have to tell her that. But I also made sure she came back to Baltimore that same week so we can get her a license, because I have to be realistic. She's in college. All her friends are drinking. They're not going to stop because I don't want them to. And I can tell her not to go, but I'm not there to see that she doesn't go. So I'm like, okay, let's get this license. So they always knew, like, she could say that to me, like, everybody I'm with is drunk. So I drive every weekend. I don't have a license. And I'll be like, okay, let's go get this license. So,
Yes,
so those type of things, just, they know the standard, they know what you expect, but they can tell you anything.
excellent, excellent. Well, how has being a grandmother impacted you? What is that like?
Oh, wow. I done got old, man. It's a blessing. I love it. I got mine quick because in the last 8 years, I got 7 grandchildren. So it took a long time for them to start, but once they started, yeah, I got 7 grandchildren. So yeah, it's a blessing. I love it. The little children drive me good and crazy, but
yes, ma'am. I know you have 7 grandchildren. Okay, cool. All right. Will you ever write a book about your personal life?
It took you 2 years to get me on here. What makes you excited? No, I will never write a book about my personal life.
We'll write a book about growing up in Philly.
Oh, it's interesting that I'm talking as much as I am, because I'm private. I don't like people knowing my business.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So no, I would never write a book.
You want to write a book? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, okay. Everybody's laughing and showing you love. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. Okay, Amila, I have one more question for you.
Okay.
What would you like your legacy to be?
My legacy. I would like my legacy to be that I was a good mother, that I was there for my children and my grandchildren and my family, that I loved my family. I was there for them. I was a woman of integrity, and I was a sister to my sisters, and I love my nation. Just that I love my nation, I love my family, and I was a woman of integrity. That's it. If that gets across, I'm good.
Praise be to Allah. I definitely think that is you've represented very well at all times. Ever since I was little, always held on a very high standard. You all come to Chicago, we come to Atlanta. traveling the country, boom, there's titles, there's the hype, there's politics, all this kind of stuff. You always seem to be the same, almost like you knew that things were temporary, or was it? How did you always be so cool when we all just everybody seemed to be in a hype mode? I mean, it was like, oh, no matter what. Like, how do you always have that stay as you go mindset?
Because of that, I was me. I was Jamilah. I never changed. I never went with the hype. I was always Jamilah, you know. I never changed. So I didn't have a problem with it. If somebody was in a position or somebody wasn't, it didn't make a difference. I'm still the same as I always was. So I just stayed myself.
That's beautiful. I'm gonna praise be to Allah. Excellent. Okay. Mimi and Naima just putting all these prayer hands and things. Yes, you are. Facts. Okay, boom, boom. They just very loving over Amila right now. Boom. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. All right, Amila, one more question for you.
Okay.
If because you're so private, right? And there's like, might be a misconception like Sis Jamilah, very serious, or boom, boom. Is there anything that you want us to know that we may not know?
No.
Look good.
No, I don't want you to know. Anything I would want somebody to know. No, not really. I mean, I can't think of anything in particular I would want anybody to know. I'm a nice person.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We know that, Amelia. Yes, okay, great.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything.
But thank you very much, Amila, for your sacrifice, holding it down. I just, the older I get, the more I see you as Sis Jamilah, less as Amila now, because I'm like, man, she's.
I'm always going to be Amila. What you?
No, I know what I'm saying, but I never heard like this I can't even picture you holding security, and I just can't see that because I can't see because you just Amila. I can't see you like you fighting in Philly in the building of nations and traveling. I'm like, get somebody protect Amila. If I ever saw you on security, I'm like, get my eye off a post right now.
He's on security.
I didn't like that either.
Time for hours. I mean,
man, listen, I didn't like that either. I was like, listen, no, mama, please, my God, I don't like that at all.
I've always been like that. You and Rashad, always worried about me.
Like I don't like that at all. But love you, Amila, and
love you too.
This means so much to us. If you ever need anything, you already know that. Boom. And thank everybody who's watching. This means so much to me. And Mimi's laughing in the comments. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Thank you very much, Amila, for coming on.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Right. Thank you all for watching. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.